Welcome to this week's video podcast.
Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video podcast. I have been very busy this week talking to lots of different vendors because it was Vendors Week, and I am working hard on getting those featured vendor directories all set. They haven't launched yet. I got a lot of email about that this week, but I haven't put the directories up officially. The directories won't go up until July 1st. They might sneak up a couple days before then, depending on how busy I am, but officially the start date is July 1st. So if you're looking for great vendors, just hold on for a couple more weeks and I will be able to give you guys lots of lists, both for Florida and for California, and for vendors who are all over the country and all over the world and who are looking to travel. It's been exciting. It's nice to see so many people who are really passionate about not only providing quality wedding services, but really passionate about the whole Disney aspect and connecting with Disney brides and grooms and doing great things for them in their celebrations. So I'm really happy about it. It's been a little bit exhausting. I had forgotten how much work it is just to try to find information out about people, to find their contact information, and then to go through and figure out, is this someone I would want to work with? Is this someone I would want to recommend? I remember that being a real pain when I was planning the wedding, and this week I've been able to experience that all over again. So, but I'm excited, and I've connected with so many great people this week, so those lists are going to be fantastic. I'm actually more excited about them now than I was even before I got started on them. If you are looking for vendors in the meantime, and you have sort of looked at some of the people that you've heard about, but you're looking for more of a wider pool, I wanted to remind you guys that there are vendors lists all over, and you should always, I think that you should always look at least 5 people, regardless of which vendor you're hiring. I mean, we're talking not only photographers and videographers, which I think are the ones that get talked about the most, but officiants, hair and makeup, florists, the people who are doing your favors and your invitations if you're having somebody else do that. I really think that it pays to look around, and there's lots of resources both online and then in print for if you're looking for vendors and you're not really sure where to get started. The ones that I use the most and that I still sometimes use when people ask me are these ones. Now, I don't like the Knot boards. I thought they were really kind of catty and scary over there. That being said, the Knot has a lot of great information, and they put out these magazines that are just for your locales. Like this one's the Southern California one, and then this one is the Florida one, which if you see them, they're like shockingly similar. But anyway, they're not wedding magazines. There'll be the occasional nice article and maybe the helpful hint. They're really just big catalogs. I mean, the things are nothing but big ad lists, but you should use that to your advantage if you're looking for vendors. If you're, like, let's say you're living in Texas, but you're looking for a vendor in Orlando, you can get copies of these magazines by ordering them online from theknot.com, which is how I get them when I'm looking for new businesses and things like that have cropped up in the Orlando area. So I would recommend that if you're just not really sure where to look. Theknot.com actually does have some, like, look here for vendors in your area. I don't think that those listings are really that comprehensive. A lot of them tend to be pretty bare. I think that people don't think about advertising there as much as they think about putting their advertisement in a magazine. So you might have a great company that really just didn't think to get their name online. If you don't pay for it with the Knot, then it's not going to go up. So I would say if you're really just looking for a big group of vendors so you can start narrowing them down, go for the magazines before you just go online, because the magazines have a lot more to offer. I talked a little bit this week about what to do, or suggestions for what to do when you're unhappy with your vendor, or when you're frustrated, or when you have reservations. You could have reservations or frustration for a number of reasons. We talked about having reservations just because maybe somebody else gave you an opinion about your vendor that isn't really what you thought, but now it's got you thinking, oh, I don't know if this is such a good idea. Maybe they're not getting back to you fast enough. Maybe you feel like you wanted to connect with them and you just don't feel like they're really giving you a lot of attention. I think that, especially when it comes to wedding planning, there's so much stress and anxiety even before anything happens, just because it's such a big deal, that it's really easy to get into kind of high tension relationships with vendors, which is too bad because, you know, if you have to work with this person, you should make it as positive as possible, not only for you, but really for them, because they are going to want to do more for you, and they're going to look forward to working with you if you're being, you know, pleasant and reasonable and things like that. I mean, that being said, you know, I'd say it's hard sometimes when you're really frustrated. And we had some issues with some of our vendors that didn't come up really until the day of the wedding and then afterwards when we looked back. And I'm in kind of a weird position because I have the blog and so many of you tune in to hear what I had to say. So when I was doing my vendor reviews, I really thought, you know, do I really want to be honest or do I just want to say, oh yeah, it was all fine? And in the end, I gave some honest reviews that weren't exactly favorable. And that's a hard thing because you never know how much you're going to affect somebody's business. And it's hard when I only have seen these people for 1 or 2 days out of their entire life and I'm making these judgments based on this one thing that they did. But, I mean, I do feel like when you're doing your vendor reviews, if you're putting a trip report out there, I don't think you should do them in the heat of being frustrated. I don't think you should put personal, nasty attacks out there. But I think that if you're being honest and you're really trying to see it from their perspective and you're still thinking that maybe they didn't do a great job, I think that that's fair. I think it's okay to say that. I do think you should worry a little bit about, you know, you should never just feel like they're not going to see that. You should always think, am I going to be okay if this person I'm talking about is going to read this? Because a lot of the vendors read the boards that so many of us use. But if you really wanted to tell people, you know, we hired this person, we had great expectations, this is what happened, and that's why we weren't exactly happy with him, I think that that's fair. So that's my 2 cents in the matter. I know that some people feel like it's just rude to put that kind of stuff out there for everyone to see. And I know that some people believe in being brutally honest, which I admit, I can see why that would be a little helpful, but mostly it just makes me uncomfortable when I read that. So, yeah, those are my 2 cents on that. We've got a fun week coming up next week, not surprisingly because of the holiday on Sunday. Next week is going to be all about fathers and their roles in weddings, which I think will be nice. It's going to be kind of a weird, different little angle that it took me a little while to think about what kind of things that I was going to be posting, but I'm excited about it now. And then the week after that, we're going to have sort of a completely different, but I think still really fun feature. And if you're the kind of person who really likes Etsy and who really likes seeing, you know, pretty crafty things and learning about new vendors, you're really going to like the week that's coming up in 2 weeks. I'm very excited about it. So that's what's coming up. In the meantime, I just want to say thank you to all of the vendors who were so easy to work with this week, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys as we get this whole featured vendor thing going. And I really appreciate all of the feedback that I got from readers who sent in recommendations, people that they thought that I might want to look at and highlight. And I got some really great stuff. It's going to take me a little while because I do want to go through and make sure that people are in business and they don't have terrible things kind of floating around out there about them. But on the whole, I mean, I've really seen, I think 95% of the vendors this week have blown me away with how great they are and how much I wish that I had known about them before I got married. So yeah, so thank you for that. It's really nice to get that kind of feedback from the community. So that about wraps it up for me. I hope you guys have a good week, and I appreciate you tuning in to hear me just chatter, and I will see you on Friday.